to his new book of collected stories, What the Dog Said.
The trick to finding ideas is to convince yourself that everyone and everything has a story to tell. I say trick, but what I really mean is challenge, because it's a very hard thing to do. Shampoo doesn't seem interesting? Well, damn it, it must be. And if it isn't, I have to believe that it will ultimately lead me somewhere that is. The other trick to finding ideas is figuring out the difference between power and knowledge. You don't start at the top if you want to find a story. You start in the middle, because it's the people in the middle who do the actual work in the world. My friend Dave, who taught me about ketchup, is a middle guy. He's worked on ketchup. That's how he knows about it. People at the top are self-conscious about what they say, and rightfully so, because they have position and privilege to protect. And self-consciousness is the enemy of interestingness. In the Pitchman, you'll meet Arnold Morris, who gave me the pitch for the dialomatic vegetable slicer one summer day in his kitchen on the Jersey Shore. "Come on over, folks. I'm going to show you the most amazing slicing machine you've ever seen in your life," he began. He picked up a package of barbecue spices and used it as a prop. "Take a look at this." He held it in the air as if he were holding up a Tiffany vase. That's where you find stories.
An effective starting point for designing new technology is to clearly identify an existing problem or user need. Finding a big problem or need often yield an untapped opportunity for design. Observing people can also help you build empathy and think from their point of view, walk in someone else's shoes, or maybe wear someone else's gloves. Sometimes, especially early on in a design project, it can be difficult to get a hold of exactly the users that you believe will eventually be the target. In this case, don't give up completely and interview nobody. Do the best you can.
Okay. Hi, good day. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Kamini Ramnath. I work here at COSTAT as a program assistant, student assistant services assistant. Sorry.
Alright, so are you okay? Is everything cool at the moment?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you understand all the equipment in front of you?
Mm-hmm.
Can you operate it?
Yes, I can.
Alright, thank you for being here for this exercise. Please follow the instructions.
Mm-hmm.
If you run into any difficulty, say that you've run into difficulty and explain what you're doing while you're doing it, if you can. It's okay if you fumble.
Okay, so first I am locating the file name 1 hour epic music on the desktop of the laptop, which I did. Open up the file. Copy the file to music directory folder of the blue phone. Studio 2 running Android platform file manager, phone storage music.
Do you want some help with that one?
No, let me try first and let me see if I could.
Alright, great. Hands on, go.
Do it on my own. So the phone is connected. Connecting to the laptop right now. Just waiting for the connection. Not seeing anything coming up as yet.
Please press the side here and allow the transfer. Press that little one there. No, the little one.
This one?
Yeah. Unlock the screen by pressing down on it.
Just swipe.
You see the top there?
Okay.
You see.
Normally when I connect mine, it will come up on the screen and.
Press the back.
This one?
Yeah. Press back again.
Mm-hmm.
Just press the middle one. Right now, press pull on. Press your USB charge. Put 2. Yeah, the top
This
one.
one.
Yeah, that's great.
Bring back now.
Do you think that could be difficult?
No.
Basic phone, right?
Huh?
Basic phone?
Yeah.
Basic phone, okay.
Keys. Copy this file to music. Music file.
The file is named Enrique something.
Yeah, it's music.
Yeah, just copy it over.
Enrique Iglesias
Yeah.
Valiant original. Right, after I do that, I open Infusion Media Player from the phone.
Yeah. It's the one with the red triangle icon.
Red triangle. Okay, hold on. Right, this one.
No, not that one. It's below that. There it is. Go back. Yeah, it's not
Okay.
that. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
have
that's
to
the
be
same.
on my phone. Alright, and then we're gonna open up the file. We have to disconnect here first.
No, you don't have to
You
disconnect
can pay
it.
directly.
Yes, you can.
Okay.
You can disconnect the phone from there now.
That's it?
Yeah, listen to it. Tell me how it is. You can lower it down, raise it up. Mm. Did you read the instructions on the Fusion player?
If I read it?
Yeah, did you read the interface? Did you look at it?
No, not really. I clicked on it to just open up and I just went to recent, which would be probably the recent file that was just saved and it just,
Play.
yeah.
Okay. Alright.
Play and enjoy music.
If you get tired of listening to it, let me know.
Oh, I can stop. I
Okay.
thought I had to listen to the entire thing. Right, so out. And we on step 6, which is repeat steps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with VLC.
Well, you don't have to repeat it.
Video.
That would be for multiple phones. Just go over to the VLC.
Alright, and open it up from there.
Yeah, the striped orange and white cone.
Okay, familiar with this one.
Oh, you're familiar with VLC?
Yeah, now we pay videos and stuff through this one.
Okay, so you like, wow, that's a sellout. Shouldn't have asked you.
And there it goes again.
So your experience with VLC as opposed to other media players,
If it's better,
you're more experienced with it, you
well, yeah, can I use this one at home? No, on my computer at home. Sometimes I use media as well, but I use media too.
alright, so you enjoyed that?
Yeah, it was nice.
Would you like a treat now or after? Fold that out. So what aspects of operating both players do you prefer? What made it easy or difficult to use or operate the player?
Well, as I say, I'm not really accustomed to, which is the first one, which is fusion. Something that I'm not really accustomed to, more accustomed to VLC. So if you ask me,
What makes VLC superior then
I don't
in
know.
usage?
I don't know, like probably not just music alone, but probably like videos. I don't know. The experience I have is that you get a clearer view and
Better
everything.
pixelation, better
Yeah, but
res,
I don't know. As I say, I've never used fusion, so I don't know. It's something
fidelity.
Yeah.
Well, if you take a look at Fusion and you look at VLC, which to you looks more appealing in terms of, say, functionality? If you're familiar, if you can apply the words functionality.
Looking at the interface, I would say probably Fusion.
You want to look at it now
Yeah.
and have a look and see?
It looks more, probably more than kind of, you know. Newest recent artist album. Okay, let me just take a look at ELC. It's, you know, it's similar, but if I look at the interface, I'd probably prefer Fusion. I can work with Fusion, that interface.
Why?
I don't know, it's probably how it looks, how it
The theme
it
looks.
have a part where you know you have recent songs. You see it in VLC, you already have that option here.
You like how it just booted up?
Huh?
You like how it booted up
Yeah.
right away?
Right.
Alright.
Correct.
Why? Alright, so say what's bad with VLC and what's good with the Fusion.
What's bad with VLC? Okay, let me see it here. Just a minute, like, let's open up this one and see what happens here. Like, you know, well, with VLC, you're saving it from the desktop to here, but when you like not open the file, like you just, you know, you're not playing the song as yet, you just went into the file, it come up as unknown album. You know, I don't know. Okay, but okay, now I went into songs and I see
It's a bit complicated.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, you know, where with
You would prefer more automated.
yeah. You know, you should automatically see it. At least. Even with Fusion, yeah, I would like the songs itself to actually see the song. When you click on the recent, you just see music unknown. I think probably the name it should come up immediately. And you have to read the actual song. But I don't know, I don't picking up on anything negative.
So you're saying if you're selling a media player, team look and some amount of automation with easy access of files is a must.
Yeah, instead of it's coming up unknown. So you
Yeah.
gotta go to the top, you know, actually select
You
the
want
folder.
you want the file identified properly so you know what you're listening to.
At the point in time.
You want to know what you're listening to and you want
Correct.
quick
So
access.
like you just gotta, you know, you have to select it and then you will see what's coming up.
And you don't really want the interface that complicated to begin with, right?
Yeah.
You want a quick thing, it comes up to recent, it comes up to
music, yeah.
and you play and you get. But in terms of VLC on a whole that you use commonly, you like high fidelity sound. You want the thing to look good, right? You want proper music
Yeah.
and you want the videos to look high definition video.
Yeah, clear.
Clear high definition video.
Mm-hmm.
You think both should have that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, both should be that way.
Exactly.
Except VLC should load up quicker.
Yeah.
Alright,
Yeah, I know
I understand
but
that.
as I say, just when I hear about Fusion, Fusion is something recent.
Yeah, well, it's Google Play. I just pulled one out of Google Play and utilized.
I don't know, I don't have this one.
Actually, that's very good.
It's more recent than VLC. I know VLC have been in for a while.
VLC Videolan client is actually common on PC.
Okay.
Okay, Videolan client is common on PC. It's like Media Player Classic, where plays. It's compatible with custom codecing. You can make custom codecs. But this is PC, not the embedded system like your phone there. Okay, well, Carmen, guess what? That's the end. And you did great. Yeah, you did. Yes, you did great. That was very informative.
Okay, what's up?
Yeah, you know what you're looking for in a player. Yeah, it's actually great. Now you got treats.
Oh, I do?
Yeah, you do.
Okay.
You got treats. You guys don't get to see the treats though.
Oh,
You guys don't. No, the guy. You guys don't get to see the treat, but you did get to see the stuff being operated.
Right.
This is the usability for HCI, and this portion of the assignment is complete, where Carmony here simply used and said what she didn't and didn't like, which is a basic stratagem. Free flowing, everyone. See y'all online. Bye.
So, what you learned here is the importance of trying and doing, like Bronislaw Malinowski did with a string instrument. You learned how to ask and listen to be able to find out what people's real goals are. And you learned to watch and observe rather than simply.
So, what aspects of operating both players do you prefer? What made it easy or difficult to use or operate the player?
Well, as I say, I'm not really accustomed to, which is the first one, which is fusion. It's something that I'm not really accustomed to. More accustomed to VLC. So if you ask
What makes VLC superior then?
I don't
In
know.
usage.
I don't know.
Genevieve Bell calls deep hanging out. What she means by that is that by spending time with people doing what they do, doing their work, living their lives, you can get beyond the surface things that people might say in a focus group to learn about what they actually do and care about. If you've ever lived in another country, I bet you found all sorts of things that are normal to the people there that are completely unfamiliar to you. There's an old saying that fish don't realize that they live in water, but as an anthropologist, if you swim with fish, it'll be really apparent to you. Here are some questions that you may want to ask when doing fieldwork. What do people do now? What values and goals do they have? How are the particular things that you're observing embedded in a larger ecology of artifacts and social networks and broader career and personal and professional goals? And what are some similarities and differences across people? Do you see everybody in a particular community doing the same thing, or are there some things that are more?
Looking at the interface, I would say probably fusion.
You want to look at it now
Yeah.
and have a look and see?
It looks more, probably more than kind of, let's see. The most recent artist album. Okay, let me just take a look at ELC. It's, they're similar, but if I look at the interface, I'd probably prefer fusion. I can work with fusion, that interface.
Why?
I don't know, it's probably how it look, how
The team
it
looks.
have a part where you have recent songs. You see it in ANC, you already have that option
You
here.
like how it just booted up?
Huh?
You like how it booted up
Yeah,
right away?
right, correct.
Why?
From the desktop to here, but when you like not open the file, like you just, you're not playing the song as yet, you just went into the file, it come up as unknown album. I don't know. Okay, but okay, now I went into songs and I see it.
It's a bit complicated.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, whereas with
You would prefer
fusion,
more automated.
yeah. Maybe I should automatically see it, at least. Even with Fusion, yeah, I would like the sound itself to actually see the sound. When I click on the recent, you just see music on moon. I think probably the name it should come up immediately. And you have to read the actual song. But I don't know, I'm not picking up on anything negative.
So you're saying if you're selling a media player,
Mm-hmm.
team look on some amount of automation with easy access of files is a must.
Yeah, instead of it's coming up unknown. So you had to go to the top, actually
If
select
you
the
want
folder.
The author and designer Mike Koniowski gave me the example of Qualcomm and their work making devices for truckers. Apparently, with an early version of the system, the responses were often blank, or when they were there, they were pretty minimal. These devices had small buttons, and one thing that emerged through participant observation is that, unsurprisingly, truckers often have big hands, and furthermore, because they're lifting heavy things, they often wear gloves. So the small buttons were completely impractical. The resulting redesign featured a large touchscreen. Additionally, because it was an interactive touchscreen where you can change what is beneath a button, the most common response at particular locations was always featured there prominently. This dramatically reduced the amount of typing that was needed, and a stylus was introduced to be able to provide precise input on the rare occasions that it was needed. I think this is a wonderful example of the great philosopher Yogi Berra's insight that you can observe a lot just by watching.
Hi, good night. My name is Philip. I'm a member of the HCI course with Mr. Cardigan at COSTAT. This is the first assignment, the usability assignment, where we have to look at a product, interview an individual, have them use the product, and improve the product. I'm in a very basic place. It isn't difficult. It's the same as prototyping with your focus group, making your mock-ups. This is a mock-up of the Fusion player that our subject picked, and you would see I have these cards here on the laptop. It's not expensive. It's your basic cards, and you should be able to notice that those are color pencil markings. Okay, now our subject decided that they preferred Fusion player to VLC video LAN client player, and they stated that they disliked the complicated interface of VLC. They wanted quick processing, high quality playback. They wanted it to look trendy, and they thought this was something that should be used for both players. Alright, now you just saw the screens, the online screen of what VLC looks like, and you have an idea after looking at the web page of what Fusion looks like. As you can see, they put a lot more work into VLC. It has touch capabilities for tracing, brightening, attached to playback, and it has an advanced menu which more advanced users may prefer for technical reasons. And then there's the quick loading Fusion with the very bright theme that also utilize a minimalist, what's called a minimalist design, where they had where you quickly loaded and you had your basic scroll interface with no directory or settings. Now let me explain to you what I have before me here. This is slide 1, this is slide 2, and this is our redesign. The initial grid of the Fusion player at the top if you look here, you had the initial grid, and within the blue splotches, little color pencil things there, you would place your icons, a main viewing area for whatever JPEGs or PNGs came along with your codec, what with maybe AVI or vid, and you would have the playback and the sound in this thin strip here. This thin strip would hold that. So there's a grid here, a large area here, a thin area here, and these are the main controls, which you should incorporate, as with most programs on Android embedded. You can press back, you can exit immediately. Right, we're all familiar with that. Exit immediately and go back. And right, so this is your main grid. This is to clarify the main grid. You would have your icons here. You'd have the main body. Have this section here with the controls for the player, and this section for your Android. Now our subject decided that this minimalist design, this minimalist design was okay, but she said for both players that she had a problem with navigation. Now ergonomics in usability and prototyping, I gather with most players, with what she was saying, she really wanted a recognition and recall. She more preferred a recognition and recall control other than a more complicated control with high quality playback and quick processing. Alright, now I really can't argue that for Fusion Player. Now we know what recognition and recall is. You go, you do it, and it's based on things you can do repeatedly. You can do stuff repeatedly and quickly, and this is a touch device, and we want the touch device to operate quickly. Alright, and it needs to be ergonomic because there's a certain amount of human physiology and mechanics involved. So we'll move to the third slide. Now this is our third slide. It's nothing fancy. Alright, it's a basic slide, but if you notice the grid here. Hold on, let me rearrange that. The grid at the top is moved to the left side. That can be changed in the settings, of course, and we can add a touch feature for a menu, because she said in both she fumbled for a bit, as I showed you in the video. She fumbled for a bit with the controls, and she did complain that the navigation was a bit difficult. We know from studying graphics that the left side of when you're observing any screen, most of the time it's the left side you look at, and as you go down diagonally, your attention and your discretion to that area decreases. So we put the menu on the top left hand side so you can't miss it, and to the left we have our menus with the same scroll interface, and we maintain the big screen, which would allow for pretty much the same feel, because we know in prototyping it's a rule, if they didn't complain about it, don't remove it. So we're not going to remove any of the main features. We're just going to make the thing as more efficient as possible and a little more ergonomic than possible. And with this change, we bring something a bit more trendy business-wise. We can add an advertising strip on top, which is common with a lot of players, not unless you go pro, but you can add the advertising at the top. Now what we're going to do is we're going to simulate how it looks. Alright, press the little menu there, and the back can dim. Now you have to have a market, and it can be simple to add to the settings the original minimalist operation, where you don't have to look into the directory, where it is automated as the user wanted. And when the item is automated, it can sort into the specified fields for music, album, recent, playlist. Alright, we can add that to settings, and we can maintain control for more advanced users, people who are above that level. So we can maintain a certain amount of control that the more advanced users would want when they're utilizing their Fusion player. And it's a simple tactic. We remove the grid, we put the grid to the left where you're more attentive. The menu is there as well. As you can see, the pop-up is to the more attentive portion of the human eye as well. And as it's shown, and if we remove it, we're back to the normal player. Well, this is my design for this HCI class. Hope you guys like the explanation. I'll see you in the next clip.